Yo, what's going on, social media world? It's your boy Sincere, J Red, Flatbush, Brooklyn. Y'all already know. Welcome to the page. Like and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, I appreciate you. Thank you. And I sincerely mean that. I know you guys, if you're already followers and subscribers, you probably hear me say this on a regular basis and probably think it's just a line that I'm saying to my intro. But no, I genuinely, sincerely, wholeheartedly, definitely appreciate you taking the time out to listen to what I got to say. Even if it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. You can share it, forward it, send it to anybody who you think might benefit from it, because you never know how it might affect someone and make them see something from a different perspective. Maybe they're going through exactly what I'm talking about, and it can help them make that shift. You know what I'm saying? But I hope everybody's doing well. We now entering the summer months and the hot days. If you're in the NYC tri-state area, we don't have too many hot days. Summer comes like this and goes even quicker. You know what I'm saying? So take advantage of that fresh air. Go to some outdoor scenery, to some local park, hug a tree, just enjoy nature and just get away from, as you can hear what I'm hearing in the background, all this noise. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're in the city life, you're always hearing this type of noise. It's always, sometimes you just need that just to be still and just be one with yourself and just have a blank presence about yourself and just gather your thoughts and think about what you want to think about and not what's constantly coming at your way and that background noise that's constantly distracting you from what you really want to think about. But it's been 3 weeks from my last video. I thank you guys for patiently waiting. Life be lifing. I try to honestly do a video every 2 weeks, but sometimes it doesn't always go according to plan. Life be lifing. I'm a regular human being like you, but like I said, I appreciate you guys. So today is a very important topic, and I think it's an underrated topic. I think we all know how important this topic is, but don't really see the significance until we're on the opposite end of the spectrum, or as I like to say, on the opposite end of the barrel, meaning the gun. You know what I'm saying? And it's about feelings being expressed. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're in a regular friendship, whether you're talking to a family member, whether you're talking to a significant other, when we as individuals and human beings express our feelings, it's never to cause an argument. It's never to stir the pot. It's because we are having these thoughts and these emotions, and we respect you enough that we want you to hear about it. We want you to know about it, because whether I express it and talk to you about it, guess what? I'm still having it. You know what I'm saying? So you should look and take into consideration the next time somebody's expressing their feelings to you, look at that as an honor, that they respect you and they value you, because they don't have to do that. They could keep their feelings to themselves in their mind. They didn't come out with any devices yet that you can read minds, so you would never know what they're really thinking. You would never really know what's on their mind. So take that as an honor and as a privilege that this person respects you and they respect themselves, that they want you in their life. Because like I said, whether they express it or not, it's still happening. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people fail to understand that. And a lot of people they take somebody expressing their feelings as a personal attack. And it's not a personal attack. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are real to the person who is having them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might be doing something intentional. Sometimes you might be doing something unintentional. But until the person brings that to the forefront and expresses it to you, you would never know. So that person's going off when I say that person, meaning the person that's expressing their feeling, that person is going off a perception. That person is going off assumption. Could be miscommunication. Could be a lack of details. For whatever reason, this person is having a feeling and they want to express it to you so we can talk about it in a civil manner. They could be heard because everybody who's expressing their feeling, number one, wants to be heard. They're not just talking because they have lips, teeth, and tongue. They're talking about it, like I said, because they value you as the person that they're being vulnerable. They're putting their pride and their ego to the side to let you know what is going on in their being, what is happening in their mind, what is happening in their heart. So you have to take that as, you know, an opportunity to kind of understand that better. Because 9 times out of 10, from what I realized in my life, that when people are expressing their feelings, sometimes it's really not what it is. It's what they think it is. So now they're bringing it to the forefront, like I said, to see, okay, I don't want to assume, I don't want to perceive, because if I don't tell you what I'm feeling, I'm going to start moving a certain way. Now you probably on the opposite angle, like, well, why is Sin moving a certain way for? What's wrong with him? Why he acting that way? So to avoid that, they are telling you what is actually happening in their mind, in their body, in their soul, and how they feel. Now, when you deflect their feeling, or when you make their feeling feel invalid, that's going to ruin a relationship. That's going to lead to resentment. That's going to lead to bitterness. It's just a ticking time bomb for them to check out mentally. Maybe they might just deal with you cordially because they have to, depending on the type of relationship you guys have. But if you're in a partnership, if that's your significant other, if that's your boyfriend, or if that's your wife, you need to be empathetic when they are expressing their feelings, even if it does not make sense to you. You know what I'm saying? You cannot get mad at the person for expressing how they feel, even if you have no idea in your head what made them come up with that feeling. That's why you need to listen to them expressing that feeling. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's probably not what it is. It's probably not what it is. You have no idea how the hell they came up with that feeling in the first place, but you have to be empathetic to when they're expressing that feeling. Because if you're not, if you gaslight them, if you railroad their feelings and deflect it, guess what? They're going to stop telling you how they feel. Then they're going to start moving a certain way. And then they're going to mentally check out. And once they mentally check out, depending on how much love they have for you, they're going to end up physically checking out. You know what I'm saying? And if you love that person, and you should have some type of empathy, like, damn, my partner feels this way. I didn't mean to make them feel that way. You didn't make them feel that way purposely. You didn't make them feel that way intentionally. But at the end of the day, that individual is still having a feeling. And the feeling they having is most likely not a fact, but it is real to them. So you are not in a position, you are not in a place to get more upset and angry. If you're cool, calm, and collective, let's say you're just chilling, let's say you a man, you sitting at home, you playing your video games, or you watching the game, or whatever it is you like to do on your free time, and then your significant other, your woman, comes up to you and be like, baby, I felt some type of way when you made me feel this way. You should not be getting upset because you was cool, calm, and collective. You was chilling. You had no idea this was going to even be addressed. So you have no right to get aggressive. You have no right to be angry. All your job is to listen to them. You could say in your head, how the fuck this person came up with this feeling? I have no clue. Just keep that to use your inside voice. Say that in your head and say that in your mind, but let this person air out their feeling. And then after you hear their feeling, wow, that's how you felt? I'm sorry you felt that way. That was never my intention to make you feel that way. Then they feel heard. They feel acknowledged that you understand where they're coming from. And then you speak your 2 cents and speak your piece and you tell them what you did or didn't do on what probably made them think that way in the first place. You know what I'm saying? That's the most appropriate way to handle somebody's feeling. Not get angry, not get aggressive, not get sad, not get in your feelings. Long story short, you don't get in your feelings because somebody's expressing their feeling, especially when you didn't have a feeling in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And I see a lot of relationships breaking. I hear a lot of friends, male and female, venting to me, talking to me about, oh, my partner, every time I express my feelings to them, it turns into an argument. Why is it turning into an argument? Let me tell you why it's turning into an argument. It's turning into an argument because that person is not feeling heard. They feel like their feelings are not valid. You're deflecting their feelings. You're making them feel bugged out for having those feelings. That's some of the reasons why they're not feeling heard. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to listen attentively, whether you agree or not. That's a whole, I'll get to that, whether you agree or not. But they have the floor right now. If you love that person, do you want your partner to feel a certain way? Do you want them to feel hurt? Do you want them to feel sad? Do you want them to feel disappointed? Especially if you know that you didn't mean to make them feel sad, you didn't mean to make them feel hurt, you didn't mean to make them feel disappointed. If you didn't mean to do these things, how are you getting more angry and in your feelings by expressing their feeling? You get what I'm saying? How is that going to make that person feel better? This person is putting their pride and ego to the side and be very vulnerable. They're coming to you very vulnerable by telling you how they feel. And now, when they do that, you're being dismissive and you're deflecting because you know you didn't do it to make them feel that way. You know you didn't have no intentions for them to feel that way. You know, key word, you know. That person does not know. If that person knew, y'all wouldn't be having this conversation if they knew that. It would be just a general conversation. Y'all be talking about something else. Y'all be kiki-keying and he-he-heing and ha-ha-ha if that wasn't the case. But clearly, they didn't know that. This is why they're addressing it in the first place. Because whether they address it or not, they're still having this feeling. Men, women, stop doing this to your partner. They're going to check out. They're going to check out mentally. And eventually, if this keeps happening, they're going to get numb. And guess what? They're not going to express their feelings no more. They're going to say, you know what? Every time I express my feeling to him, or every time I express my feeling to her, it gets nowhere anyway. All we do is argue about it. And how we're arguing about, now, there's a flip side to this. Now, if the person who's expressing their feeling says that you're doing this intentionally and they're making a bold statement and saying it is a fact that you're doing that, then I can see you getting defensive. I can see you getting in your bag, getting argumentative, because now this person is basically saying, I know what you think. I know how you think. I'm in your head. So if they're coming at you that way, that's a whole different video. That's a whole conversation for another time. I hope the person who's expressing their feeling is self-aware, consciously aware that they don't address it because they don't know that you're doing that purposely. So they should not be coming at you saying, well, I know you did this because of that. Or I know you did this because of that. Because if they do come at you like that, I could see anybody now getting defensive. Anybody trying to deflect how you feel because you're basically telling me that you know what I'm thinking and you know why I did something. And that's not the case. That's your feeling. Your feeling's not a fact. Your feeling's just real to you. And for you to see if it makes sense in general, that's why you're expressing it to that person. So now that they hear the feeling, they can now come and talk about it in a civil manner. But don't deflect the person's feeling. Don't be dismissive to the person's feeling. They had the feeling first. Let me say that again. They had the feeling first. You didn't have a feeling at all in that brain of yours. You was chilling, sitting, standing, doing whatever you was doing, minding your business, and your significant other came to you because of how they felt, because of something that didn't happen, did happen, or whatever it is. They're giving you the utmost respect because they love you. Because a lot of relationships get broken because you're making the person who is expressing their feeling feel that their feeling is invalid and is not warranted. Everybody has a right to feel how they feel, and they have a reason for feeling how they feel. Now you know the reason. Now, after you hear the reason behind it, it's your job now to listen empathetically and now acknowledge that you understand where they are coming from, or you hear what they are saying, and you are sorry that they are feeling that way. But that is not the case on how you are feeling. And let me break it down and explain to you what really happened, or what you thought, or what you didn't think, or what you were sad or disappointed, or whatever the case may be. That's when you now speak your piece, but you don't get upset off the rip for the person expressing their feeling. I see a lot of this happen in relationships. I see men doing it. I see women doing it. People, we need to cut it out. If you really love and value this person, look at them expressing their feeling as like a badge of honor. Like, damn, this person is coming to me. I'm sorry they're feeling this way. Let me see how I could make them not feel that way, but still make them feel heard at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Because it's the easiest way to break up a relationship, whether it's a friendship or a significant other or whatever the case may be. I'll give you a perfect example that's just on a friendship and not even on a relationship level. How much time I got? Yeah, I'm only 16 minutes in. So real quick, I'll make a long story short, right? So I had a couple friends that we are not as tight as we used to, and I was with these dudes from a long time in the sandbox. And because of pride and ego, they didn't know how to express their feelings. They were still having the feelings, but they wasn't expressing it. So now when I did something, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, because guess what? I don't know what I'm doing until you address it. You know what I'm saying? Remember that. The person does not know what they're doing until you address what it is you think they're doing intentionally or unintentionally. But these dudes was not doing that, and it was harboring their feelings, and it was keeping them within. Now, what do you think happens over time when you keep harboring your feelings and you don't express it? You're building a case against me. So now guess what's going to happen? You're going to blow eventually. Something small might blow to something big because you've been holding on to these feelings that you should have been expressing. You should be comfortable enough to express your feelings to the people you care about. Because when you don't do that, you are a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. And like I said, whether you express it or not, you're going to have those feelings. So guess what happened? They start moving funny with me because I'm self aware. I'm picking up on you moving funny with me. I'm asking what's wrong. Your pride and ego is not telling me that I'm doing something wrong. And it's only a matter of time before you just can't take it no more. When you could have just addressed the feeling from the time you had it. You should have just said, hey, yo, Sin, when you talk like this or when you say this, it makes me feel some type of way. I'd have like, really? Word? My bad, bro. Honestly, I was just going through what I was going through. I never meant to make you feel some type of way. But now that you told me, now that you expressed your feeling, I'll be more mindful to not do whatever it is I'm doing to make you feel some type of way. You get what I'm saying? I hope this makes sense, man. I could go on and on about this topic because this is very, very important. Like I said, men and women are doing it. Y'all ruining a lot of valuable relationships. Y'all making important people cut you off, or you cutting them off over your pride and ego, over something that you should just be able to talk to them in a respectful manner and just come to some type of understanding. So the next time your significant other, the next time your friend expresses their feeling, say to yourself, it's just a feeling. It's not a fact. It's not real. Let me hear what this person says. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. It's a lack of communication, a lack of detail. And then you hear them out. You be empathetic. You make them feel like you understand and you hear what they're saying. And then you speak your piece. Stop deflecting it. Stop dismissing it. Stop making them feel like what they're saying is not warranted. because you're gonna lose out because they're only gonna stop expressing it to you, and then, like I said, you're on borrowed time because that relationship is inevitably gonna end. Sincere, J Red, Flatbush, Brooklyn. Let me know what y'all think. Yo.